Kane, it's 1-0. We're fucking down. 13th in the championship. The takeover happened, as I said it would. People will be... Oh, when have we got Leeds? Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe football show. And as the Ma says, happy Yorkshire Day, you lovely people. How's that doing? Is that doing fine? Is that laking out? I don't know. That's very South Yorkshire, isn't it? But big up to each and every one of you, and happy Yorkshire Day for them folk that are from Yorkshire, celebrating it, right? I hope you're all doing well. Please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course hit that notification bell. It is officially the 1st of August today, which means, of course, in just 5 days' time, you can see it. I got getting giddy. The championship season kicks off for Leeds United. The championship campaign starts on Friday. Chef Wednesday take on Southampton. And yeah, Leeds United don't play till Sunday, but you know, the Hackers are back and all that jazz. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. For those that were asking on my previous video, White Rose Rivals will be back tomorrow. What we're going to do is sort of like a prediction league on the White Rose Rivals. Each give a prediction, tell us about the game coming up, scoreline. A bit like the Big Six. They're the Trailblazers, right? That's what I'm trying to do. So we'll do something like that. White Rose Rivals. Looking forward to the show. Should be around about 8 o'clock. Okay. I do have a opposition preview ready to go as well. That's already been filmed and ready to push the button on. So when the time's right, I'll drop it. You'll get a preview from myself, of course, and then probably late night Leeds preview the evening before the game, looking at Cardiff. So that'll probably be Saturday night. But yeah, that's just to give you an idea of what's going on. Listen, there's loads of transfer rumours, some surprising, some totally wild, and some that have credibility to them. So I just want to get the guff ones out of the way first of all, on what I consider to be guff. Hirving Lozano is not coming to the championship, first and foremost, right? That's never happening. Never would, never will, never is, just nada, right? So anyone that's pushing this narrative is just doing it to wind folk up initially. And for those that genuinely believe that Hirving Lozano would move from Napoli to Leeds United in the championship, yeah, it's not happening. So, of course, a lot of the aggregator sites are jumping on it. The guy's wages will be astronomical. The transfer fee that they'll want for him will be huge. And by all accounts, he's going to MLS. Lozano's not built for the championship. And he's Mexican, right? Mexican, I believe. I might be right. I might be wrong. Let me just check that. Yeah, Mexican. He's going back to America. To America. He's not coming to Yorkshire. So them stories that have been reported, and there are a few, you know, about Lozano, like, don't worry, it's not happening. He's off to the MLS. So he is. There you go. Done. And we've also been linked to a winger, and this one's been running for a few days now. Again, I don't really know much about him. Francis Amzu. It's not come from anyone credible up to this point. You know, this is an aggregator site. I believe Leeds United News. Not dissing them, by the way. I'm just saying what they'll do is have a look around, then report it in their own style with links to that said newspaper that originally reported it. But yeah, Belgium playing for Anderlecht, I believe. It's come from the Belgian outlet Voltbel News. Look, I don't see us being in the market for a winger. If we are in the market for a winger, it will only be because one of our wingers has left. We are stacked in that area. It's saying here Anderlecht may have to sell him. But look, Leeds United, as we can see here, have Jack Harrison, Willie Gnonto, Chris Somerville, and Luis Sinisterra. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a big chance, and I mean a big chance, that one of these players could leave, right? If not more. But I think Jack Harrison's staying at least till January. It looks like the injury's quite serious. I know I doubted it earlier on, but yeah, I don't see that. Richard, don't believe what you read, mate, about him wanting to stay in Europe. Again, that's come from a gut thing. He's going to the MLS. But yeah, I think Harrison stays. Okay. Sinister, I'm hopeful. Again, that's still a worry. Non-tour potentially. I think Somerville they'll really try and keep. I think they'll really try and keep. And to be fair, Rutter can play out there. So, I think Leeds United are not in the market for a winger. It's probably the least likely position that Leeds United will look to bolster numbers in because we have the most numbers in that position. You know what I mean? It makes no sense for me as a fan looking at Leeds United's current squad makeup that they need to go out and go get another winger. It'd be pointless because first and foremost, we need a left back. We need another centre back. We need another centre midfielder. We need a cam 10, and we also need a striker. If the club went and got another winger, I'm convinced Victor Orta's still here because it's the least position that Leeds United need to cover right now. So for me, the Amzu stuff is purely talk. It's agent talk. Now they may be making inroads into potential positions if they do lose more than the suspected one or two. But again, I think they're confident. The club are confident that they'll keep enough bodies there. Yeah, so I think I think the links to Amzu and any other winger for that matter are way wide of the mark. I think it's pure agent talk at this point regarding Amzu. Now we did just touch on defenders. Now Nat Phillips again, it picked up a bit of traction yesterday. A Liverpool fan basically, put out there that the deal was done and good luck and I hope you have a nice time and thanks for everything. But the lad said himself, he's not no journalist or all like that. I don't know where he's got that information from, to be honest, but it seems to have been rumbling on a while now. We know Graham Smith's mentioned that Leeds United are in the hunt for a centre-back. Howard Bellis has been mentioned. Do I think Leeds United will fork out 15 million for him on a permanent deal? No. Do I think he'll go on loan? Potentially, but not to a championship club. He's done his hard yards. I think if he goes on loan, it'll be to a lower-end Premier League club, just because that seems to be the progression. Richard says Nat Phillips is not good enough. Based on what, Broski? Based on what? Who would you prefer us to sign? Put some names in. But yeah, for me, Nat Phillips seems to be the most likely. Now, we know Leeds United, in their pursuit of players this season, have gone in a methodical approach. They've gone, right, okay, we need a centre midfielder. We'll get a centre midfielder. Yeah. We need a goalkeeper. Right, we're focusing on that. And we were told that centre-back would be the next option. Now, that could have changed and may well have changed because of the injuries up top. We still don't know yet what them injuries are, and we'll find out later in the week, obviously, because Daniel Farke will do a pre-match presser ahead of that. So I don't know if that'll be Friday potentially. So I think we'll hear on Friday the extent of them injuries, and if they are injured, the strikers for me the most important position right now. Forget the 10. It becomes, forget the centre back as well. It becomes striker number one for me. I'd love Joel Polyupano, as you know, but I think the fact that he's available for about 3 million and the fact that no one's pushed the button or Leeds haven't pushed the button, I don't see that happening because they could have easily gone, bam, right, we'll take him, yeah, medical. I guess we're going to struggle to hear Leeds United news because for me, because of Phil here and because of Graham Smith not being in the country and out on holiday, etc., it's going to be, it's going to be hard to hear the news. I guess the only time we'll hear the news is if it comes from the other side, the other camp, if you like. But yeah, on the centre back, Nat Phillips seems most likely. And I'd love us to get a deal done. There was a lot of reports on Liverpool Twitter yesterday that Leeds United were set to meet him today. I'm not sure where or if the reports have any validity to them. But I think the fact that Nat Phillips was mentioned right at the start by Phil here, I think it's seriously got legs to it. I think, and the fact that he hasn't moved club as of yet, I think that sounds like a goer. And do you know what, Liverpool, I think notoriously hard clubs to deal with in the transfer market. And I don't mean that in a negative standpoint. I just think they don't have the piss taken out of them. And we know Leeds United up to this point have been pretty shrewd as well in terms of their incomings. So that one could rumble on maybe, but we do need another centre back. We only have 3 at the football club. You can mention, different names and say, oh, well, he can fill in there, and Ampadu can, and so can Kjelder, but we're done with that now, hopefully, as a football club. 4 centre backs, you probably could do with some more youngsters, and maybe we have that in the likes of Mullen, Chris Moore. We've also got Monteiro as well, waiting in the wings. So if you add another right-sided centre back, then you've got 4 decent Championship options for me. Nat Phillips went in at Bournemouth, played for 6 months, and they got promoted. He got promoted out of Germany. I think if Nat Phillips was to come in, and you had Nat Phillips, Charlie Creswell, Liam Cooper, and Pascal Struijk, a Championship 4 centre backs, it's fine. It's fine for me. So if we can get a deal done, then get it done. And that for me at the minute seems to be the most likely acquisition for Leeds United in that area. Of course, we all got excited over the Harwood Bellis stuff that came out, but I just don't see it happening. Leeds United are not going to put 15 million out on a centre back. I mean, it looks like we might not even put 15 million out on a guy who's going to score you 25, 30 goals a season. So I don't think we're then going to do that at the back, in my opinion. So yeah, I think that's a bit of a pipe dream. But Leeds United, mate, I mean, they're being ambitious by all accounts. We genuinely approached Man City about Rico Lewis. I mean, if that's not balls, then I don't know what is. So maybe they are genuine, but it just seems awfully quiet. But that's how they've moved up to this point, and maybe they're saving the big acquisitions for later in the window, or waiting for clubs to reduce their asking prices. And that moves us on to Swansea. Okay, that moves us on to Swansea. We will touch on the Tyler Adams stuff. We will touch on that. But we'll save that. We'll save that. Those that are on about the Mateus Click thing. I don't know if you've seen the Mateus Click thing, but I think it was Leeds News or something mentioned how Voba was a fighter and all that, and he was going to stay, and then Click just put a laughing emoji underneath it. He's very good at the social media game, is Click. David O'Halloran says, many signings before the weekend. I can't see it, bro. I genuinely can't. At least we'll have a good deadline day. Like, I will say that much. Maybe we'll see some movement there. But I get the feeling the 49ers and Prague won't be pressed into making wild signings. You get them wild deadline day deals. Do you remember when like Liverpool bought bloody Andy Carroll and others? Wild deadline day deals. I don't see the 49ers moving like that, to be honest. But yeah, waiting for dominoes to fall, waiting for asking prices to come down, and that moves us on nicely, I think, to Swansea because as Sam said in the comments, Swansea have now signed two strikers. Yates came in from Blackpool, and then they've also just been and bought Kukarevci. I'm not sure on his name. I'll probably just hammered that. So I just wanted to share with you transfer marks and the current transfer business that Swansea have done. Okay, so you can see here from looking, they have brought in 2 centre forwards. Okay, this guy here from Troyes, which is Ligue 1 or Ligue 2. Yeah, Deux, right? And Jerry Yates from Blackpool. All right. Now, I was listening to not the top 20 yesterday. A few of you will have listened to it. I think they've tipped Leeds United to win the league, by the way. But they were talking about Swansea and saying that the manager of Swansea, Michael Duff, who they brought in from Barnsley after Russell Martin has gone to Southampton, he has a certain brand and a certain style of play that he'll adopt that actually Joe Piroe won't fit into. Now, there's question marks over whether or not he'll fit into our system. That's been mentioned a few times. But listen, I'm not going to sit here and say I know what style Swansea play. I know what style Michael Duff plays. I'm only reiterating what they had said. Now, not the top 20, George Ellick, and I forget the other lad's name. What they don't know about the EFL all the way down the leagues, it's mad. They would both work at the Athletic. I think they've worked for Sky in the past, etc. So they are the go-to when it comes to Championship. And I think it was George Ellick was saying how Michael Duff has a certain style that actually Joe Piroe won't fit into. And it sort of coincides with this, because we've seen the story from Joe Piroe coming out of Wales or coming out of Joe Piroe's camp that he's happy to stay, right? Has that now then put Swansea into a high alert? People said it purely is gesturing. And I was saying, I'm not too sure. Look at Blackburn. They let Ben Brereton Diaz run his deal down and he ended up going for free. So it's not out of the ordinary. Okay. But the fact that Swansea have then gone out and got two now. They did have Yates. They've gone out and got another just yesterday. They've got 2 strikers now. That's 3. And you're going to say that they're going to bring in 2 new strikers and then also let Joe Piroe just sit and wait out when they can get maybe 15 million for him. 10 million rising up to 15. So I have to go along with the standpoint that coming out from Wales Online yesterday or a couple of days ago is purely the agent's camp saying, listen, we'll stay then. We'll stay here. We'll run our contract down. More than happy to do that. But it's a bit like, obviously on a much lesser scale, but it's like Mbappe at PSG. PSG were ready to send him out on loan. Ready to send him out on loan to wherever. There's been loads of clubs mentioned up to this point, Liverpool, etc. Mbappe will end up staying. He'll end up staying and get his 60 million bloody, I don't know, bonus thing. But I didn't actually know. I was listening to On the Continent this morning, which is it's a great podcast as part of the Football Ramble. And they were saying that in France, we have they called it the loft. The loft. So, like we say, they've gone to train with the kids, a bit like Glenn Kamara. It's like that, but all the unwanted players that haven't gone to Japan with PSG go what they call in France the loft. But by September the 1st, they're not allowed to be in the loft. They have to be incorporated into the squad. Even if they're not going to play, you can't just bomb someone out like we do in England. I don't know if that's the regulations or whatever, but according to On the Continent and what Miguel Delaney and all them people, what they don't know about, mad Brazil and all that sort of stuff. Basically, it's called the loft. So that's a mad one. So even though Mbappe is in the loft currently, if they don't get a deal for him, he will have to be used. He will have to be at least in the squad come September the 1st. But yeah, that I've just gone off point there. But basically, what I'm saying is, it's a similar situation in that PSG are like, we can't lose Mbappe for nothing. Swansea surely will have the same on a much lesser scale. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Forza Noodle said it is in the regulations. It's illegal to do that in France, which is mad, isn't it? It's mad. Because in England, we do it all the time. You go train with the kids, don't want to see you. Get out of the way. Do you know what I mean? LUFC lost it. Yeah, they come to me. You wish they come to you, mate. I'm Mbappe and you could sell him them deals and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, yeah, they go to LUFC Lost House and just kick about in his garden. But yeah, maybe Michut is also in there. Do you know what I mean? Because they mentioned a few players, Gini Wijnaldum, Mbappe, and then youngsters. And that straight in my mind as I'm walking the dog, I thought, I wonder if Michut's there. Or Michut, whatever his name is, who was linked to Leeds United by Fabrizio Romano, but that's gone quiet as well. So we'll have to wait and see if we're even looking to do that. yeah, it's just awfully quiet right now, isn't it? It's awfully quiet. But yeah, I think the important point to I'm trying to stress and trying to get across at this moment in time is that Swansea are ready to sell Piroe. Everything tells you that. And I think it was gesturing from his agent and from Piroe's camp to say, okay, we'll see out our days. Don't worry about us. We'll move for free, which means Swansea will get no return on investment. He'll get a nice signing on fee, etc. And the thing is, it's not as if Piroe doesn't have suitors, because he does. Southampton have been linked. We've been linked. Leicester have been linked, and more recently Nice over in Ligue 1. So they've just, I think, Ben Jacobs, who's been on this very show, did a report the other day saying that Nice had also entered the race. So yeah, so there's 4 clubs, if not more, interested in him. Probably more have inquired about him and maybe being told, oh, it's going to cost you X amount, and they've come away from the negotiating table. But Leeds United might be playing that long game, and it might be a deal that gets done on deadline day, because, you know, no club's willing to meet it, and then Leeds might come and say, listen, we'll give you 10 and you can have X amount if we get promoted, and Swansea will go, oh yeah, like, we need to get him off the books here, because we're going to lose a massive amount of money come the end of the transfer window. So Joel Piroe is definitely one to watch, and I think at some point he will exit the football club and leave Swansea. Not least just because he doesn't suit the style, and they've brought in 2 strikers for Michael Duff at Swansea that shows you they're backing their man and preparing for an exit potentially of Joel Piroe. Glenn Kamara, again, that one's gone very, very quiet. I spoke to someone yesterday who said to me, oh, they'd spoke to Angus in passing, and he was like, I don't know where the Glenn Kamara stuff's come from. I don't know if he was just BSing him because it was Graham Smith that went with the Glenn Kamara line. So you'd imagine he was told about Glenn Kamara. So I'm not too sure on that. But yeah, look, Glenn Kamara is one that's going to be doable. And the reason is because Michael Beale's frozen him out. He's gone to the loft like they do in France. He's training with the kids. He wants to move. He's a Finnish international. It's a no-brainer. It could be done for as little as 5 million. The point is, we need depth. And like Jamie says, Kamara just seems obvious. Whether Leeds United will do the obvious deal remains to be seen. But we need depth, and he can give us depth. He probably would start. But what I'm saying is, I'm more than happy with us starting with Gray and Ampadu. I said that last night. Big up to everyone on that show last night. It was lit, by the way. But what I'm saying is, if either of them were to suffer a knock, we're up shit creek without a paddle. We haven't got enough bodies in there, like centre-back. We've only got 3. In midfield, you could argue we've got 3 that are... I mean, Shaq, you can stick in there, but I think the 3 that I'd say would be Ampadu, Gray, and JB. Shaq's a little bit below them for me personally. But even, yeah, Louis O'Brien, Stephen, that would work. But again, that's an obvious one that Leeds United don't want to seem to entertain. I think you could get a deal done there with Nottingham Forest, but it's very quiet on him. It's very quiet on him, not just from us, from anybody. So there might be a reason for that. So let's wait and see, because all the Premier League clubs that have been away, they return this week. They return this week to the UK, to England, and get ready. At which point, Lewis O'Brien might be told by Forest, thanks for pre-season, but yeah, you're still not going to make the cut. You can find a new club. These are all things that we need to think about, because Forest are already doing business. If he didn't make the cut last season, it's highly unlikely he'll make the cut this season. Yeah, Lee Fitness, I'd love Ilias Chair, and the thing is, QPR totally negate him by the way they play. They play long ball with Hainsworth, and doesn't really suit their style. And a lot of people are tipping him for relegation. So one to watch. Josh Madger's been mentioned there by Damar. I know Andrea's mentioned him before. He's a free agent. Dimitri Payet. Yeah. Dimitri Payet. Well done to the Lionesses. 2-0 up, which means they'll progress. Well done. The only time I watch it is when my daughter's here, but yeah, I hope they do well. There you go. Damar says QPR been playing Chair on the right wing, which is not for him. Yeah, exactly. So he's one again that probably would be doable and would suit what we need, right? Would suit what we need. Now we're talking about depth at Leeds United, and that we're going to finish up on this. It is, of course, depth at Chelsea, and the reason I mention that is because they have been linked in the last couple of hours to Tyler Adams. All right. Now, this could be seen or being used as a negotiating tactic with Brighton because they're still not close to or are ready to complete the deal for Moses Caicedo. That's who they want, right? That's who they want. And we're led to believe that Brighton could even look at Tyler Adams as an option if Caicedo goes to Chelsea. So again, there might be some of that in it. There could be some of that in it. But Tyler Adams potentially is an option for Chelsea. Now, if there are any Chelsea fans watching this, for me, it sounds mad because we're in the Championship to say I'd be okay for Tyler Adams to leave. Do I think he could be a success at Chelsea? It depends on the role given to him. If you put him in front of the back four and ask him to mop everything up, defend, he's brilliant at that. And I genuinely do think, I mean, there are limitations to his game, but for me, he wouldn't look at a place at the top end of the Premier League doing a certain type of job. If you just give him a job to do, he will do it, which when you hear a Championship club say about a player, oh, I don't mind him leaving, I just think with the style we'll adopt and I guess the notion is on Leeds United to have a lot of the ball, to be the aggressors, to go out and win the games. In the Premier League, even if you are that team, say Chelsea is that team, you still need that defender in there. You don't need it as much in the Championship because your players normally should be above and beyond them anyway, so it shouldn't be that much of a problem. But in the Premier League, every team's good. Do you know what I mean? Every team is good. We know this. And I think if Chelsea want to put someone there who can just break everything up, we know that he's deceptively quick. He can cover ground like he's class at covering ground in such a short space of time, which then means he can nick the ball away from an on-rushing midfielder or whoever it may be. So I do think he would suit going in there and being asked to do a specific job. I can see a lot of Chelsea fans maybe sniffing their nose up at it. I know the USA men's national team Stan accounts will be going, oh, yeah. They'll want him out of Leeds. Look, the thing is with Adams as well, he's got a release clause by all accounts, which isn't great for us, is it? And it's pretty cheap. But Ted Garron says, Adams, no assists or goals, take the money. Yeah, it's not his game, though, is it, bro? Yeah, and I agree with Rob. I think Adams next to Ampadu, it's not really enough for me. I want a more box-to-box number 8, if you like, a more creative force than Adams and Ampadu. Maybe Adams playing there releases Ampadu further up, but I like him where he is. I think he's got more to his passing game, really, which is mad, really. That's what I mean. Chelsea fans might be saying, hang on a minute, you're saying you'd rather Ampadu, but I guess it just depends on the style you would like to play. Do I think he could do a job? Yes. Is he going to set the world alight? No. I think it's an okay transfer for someone like Chelsea. But I don't know if they're serious about it. But the facts are at Chelsea, they only have Enzo. They only have Enzo Fernandez right now. Conor Gallagher's expected to leave. Outside of that, I'm not sure who they've got. A lot of them have left. Obviously, Kovacic has gone to City as well. So I don't think they have anything outside of that. And he's cheap. And he's dirt cheap for what? He's probably going to cost 20 to 30 million, which is cheap. Very cheap in today's market, especially for the USA men's national team captain. I think that's fair to say. Let me just show you the article. So this has come from the Times. This came from the Times this morning. So as it says, Caicedo remains the top target while Southampton's Romeo Lavia is an option. But we know Romeo Lavia, he'll go for me to Liverpool this week. I've seen West Ham close to putting another bid in for James Ward-Prowse. There's a lot of talk that, these clubs will keep these players. They will not. They will not. They will eventually leave. So Chelsea are pulling together a short list of targets in order to bolster Pochettino's limited midfield options. Moses Caicedo remains the top target, but Chelsea have had 3 bids rejected. The latest worth 80 million. They are interested in Lavia, but he's wanted by Liverpool, and I think his heart's set on Liverpool at this point. But Chelsea want to add more depth and experience in midfield and are considering other targets, with Leeds United's Tyler Adams, one of the main ones, a couple of other names mentioned as well. But look, he is recovering from a hamstring injury, but supposed to be back after the international break, which is September. He's not out for too long. He's already been seen on the grass. He's got Champions League experience. He's the captain of the USA men's national team. They have Todd Bowley, etc., etc. You could see why it would make sense for Bowley and his cronies. So yeah, and listen, Leeds United, he has a release clause which is next to nothing as well. I'm just trying to even Chelsea, like other names, for example, this guy they just brought in, he's also been sent straight back out on loan anyway. So they are struggling in the midfield department. And as we know, and I don't know why it's not showing it in here, there we go. Adams is believed to have a relegation release clause in his contract. Let's hope that relegation release clause isn't a loan one, even though we've got domestic loans, but I'd rather him be sold. Randall says, make Adams captain. Yeah, if we'd have stayed in the Premier League, mate. But again, he's so replaceable for Leeds United in the Championship. So of course I'd like him to stay, but we need to recoup some money somehow. He's got release clause. Clubs like Chelsea may potentially want him. This lot needs a leader. They've got one in Liam Cooper, bro. They've got one in Ethan Ampadu. They have leaders at the football club. I know you might think Cooper's not, but he's not head and shoulders above everyone else as well. I think you just see, yeah. Anyway, everyone's got different opinions, haven't they? They are leaders, though. You can laugh, but Cooper's a leader. You take away your opinion on his footballing ability and all that sort of stuff. As a leader, he is a leader. But yeah, we'll never agree on that, so we don't even need to entertain that conversation, folks. But yeah, look, we'll have to watch this space. I do think Adams will leave. Adams will leave. He has a release clause, and probably deserves to be playing higher up than the Championship for sure. He'll leave. Joel Piroe will exit Swansea, I think, by the end of the transfer window. Do I think it'll be Leeds? If I'm a betting man, I'm saying no. I'm saying no at this point. That would be my opinion up to this point. Just trying to think where else we're at. Centre back Nat Phillips, I think would be up there. It's quite funny. Emma Taylor says, sorry to break it to you, but football and ability probably quite important. Yeah, and isn't it interesting that every manager that we've had at this football club, including Marcelo Bielsa, for the past decade, has had Liam Cooper the captain. I mean, it's almost as if they know what they're talking about and you don't. But then again, we move. Yes. Please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, hit that notification bell. I may drop the opposition preview late tonight. I know, tell them, Jack. It just burns. It burns. You want some Savalon for that, my bro? You want some Savalon? I don't know. Do you need some? I think maybe you should. Go to the chemist and get some Savalon. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course, hit that notification bell. Watch this space. Hopefully, we'll get a centre back in. I'm not sure we will. Remember, White Rose Rivals will be tomorrow night. And if there are any other news bits to mention between now and then, you know where it's at. But I am going to bid you adieu, eat some food. I'm having my boy later, and I'll see you in a bit. Peace.